through the back. So we creepin', caps are blue, so you know that we peeking in our bag for the night.
Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another episode of 7 p.m. in Philly. I'm your host, Steve. And today, before we get started, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, hit the button, hit it.
Yes, sir.
Today, we have an episode, a nice episode, man. We just going to talk about, being dads. I'm a dad. My dog Reese is a dad. And I think it's important for us as men to talk about our experiences and how we feel about being dads, or better yet, fathers. So it's going to be a question and answer. We got my dog Scooter behind the camera. Shout out to him. He's been a big part of this podcast here. So shout out to my dog Scooter. But yeah, like we do every episode, let's get started.
First things first, man. Congratulations to y'all being fathers.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
Thank you, brother.
So let's get right into it, man. You guys both have sons. So how old do you think your son should be before they start dating?
Oh, that's tough. My son's 12. And he has, I don't know if you call it, it's not dating because he's not able to go out to do anything like that. Right. But he has a little girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And, as a 12-year-old kid, I was once 12. And it's exciting. It's cool. I think it's, he has a little girlfriend. I found out, he got his little first kiss and all that stuff, whatever. I don't think I'm supposed to say that on air. It's supposed to be a secret. But sorry, Trav. My bad, man. But I mean, dating, I would say maybe like 16, 17 or so. I think at that point, it's kind of like you kind of starting to know who you are yourself. You start to become much more responsible in a sense. So I would
try to be.
Yeah, I would say about 16, 17. What's your take, Reese?
So I have teenage daughters. And it's like, it's the flip side of things, know. I really want them to wait as long as possible, but it's not the reality because we were kids, before. So I would say the same around 16, 17.
Yeah.
I just want them to try to just stay focused as possible, Get them, preparing for the real world.
Correct.
Be a kid, but handle your business. I wish I did that, around that age. But again, they got the guidance I didn't have.
Gotcha.
So,
right.
I'm right there with them every step through the way. So,
gotcha. Okay.
So you touched on this already, Reese. So this is for you, Steve, because you have a son and a daughter.
I do.
How about your daughter? Ooh. That's the hard one.
That's tough. It's tough for me. And, if my daughter came home at 12 and told me she kissed a boy, I don't know if it would sit well with me, dog. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Because I feel like for little girls, man, I feel like you have to protect them more. I'm a guy. And I know, but I'm a guy, but I'm not a creep. I feel like there's guys out there who are not like me. Right. They're creeps. They want to take advantage of women, and they would want to take advantage of my daughter. So I feel like you have to kind of nurture and kind of protect your daughter from these elements out there, all these boys trying to hit them with G and all that extra stuff. So it's like, for me, I feel like I would still let my daughter date around like 17. But I would definitely be much more on top of her than just kind of like with my son. It's kind of like, all right, yo, dog, you know the drill. You know what to do. You know what not to do. Respect women, whatever. But with my daughter, it'll be different because it's kind of like it's the flip side, and guys are trying to holler at her, and they're the aggressor. And so it's kind of like you need to protect her more. I would still let her date at that age. But like I said, I would definitely be much more on top of her.
Yeah, the daughters are tough being a father. I have a niece, so I'm like, she's 12.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I have 17 16 and 9. So it's definitely tough. What you really hope for is the mother to be heavily involved and also walk them through those things. Not saying I had a problem with it. I didn't, because I've done it. But you want the co-parenting to be as tight as possible. That's the best thing for the child. But if it's just one parent, you stay on them, and you just do the best you can, because we got to be real at the same time. Social media world is different.
Right.
Right. We didn't grow up in that. So we were able to be kids.
Correct.
It was kids' things to do.
Right.
These kids are, they got everything at their fingertips, and
right.
Let's call it what it is. They're growing. They're grown at an early age.
Correct. But that's why I say I feel like you have to be on top of them, like especially girls and women, because social media for guys it's one thing, but for women and for little girls it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And the things that they put out there, the things that's trendy, and the things that can lead them to the wrong path and direction. It's a lot, and that's more out there than the positive things that are out there. So
Yes.
that's why I say, as my daughter, I would definitely want to nurture her more and hold her hand more than my son, because I feel like when it comes to social media, it's much more derived towards little girls and women. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you constantly see that on there more than you see the guys doing something crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, as a dad, as a girl dad, I would definitely be on my daughter a little bit more. So due to society,
As hard as it is,
right?
So as a girl dad and girl dads,
Yeah.
how do y'all approach those conversations with your little girls on dating and on, men?
Right.
I'm
I'll let you go first.
I'm straightforward. I just feel like that's the way. It's ways to go about it. Me, I've just been straightforward, just to let them know, like, listen, there's no sugarcoating nothing. This is what's gonna happen. For me, for my 17-year-old, which I'm a grandfather because of it, and it makes me look back like, what can I did more, or anything, and I've done, and what I'm continuing to doing, everything that I can. She's 17. She has a mind of her own. Again, I was a kid once. It's different, and I'm not going to sit here and beat myself up as a parent. I know what I do. I know what I'm doing, and you should never question, things. But it's tough. Just talk. Just constant talks. That's just my method. What I've been doing, man.
Yeah. Like for me, I had this conversation with my brother yesterday, and because my nephew's 22 or 23 or something like that, and I just use this as my thing. It's kind of like, kids are gonna be kids.
Yes.
Kids are gonna be kids, and we gotta realize, like, we were kids also.
Yeah.
As much as we want to shelter them and protect them away from the dangers and the things that we've gone through so they don't have to go through it, they have to go through it too.
Absolutely.
That's the only way we learn.
Right.
We're not here today if we didn't learn the things from before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't become who we are without going through the tough times and the tough lessons.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, yes, you have to be on top of them, be strict, to be whatever you need to be in order for your kid to follow that path. But at the same time, you got to let them spread their wings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like with my son, like, he's 12, he's turning 13. I still I have these conversations with him. I don't shelter him. I talk to him about real stuff. Because I feel like a lot of parents, they're like, no, my child's too young. We can't talk about this in front of him. Right. All that. So they shelter the child. So now the child becomes older, and they're like, yo, what is this? What's that?
Right.
Whoa. I didn't know this ever happened. No, like, me and my son, we watch the news. And they'll ask me things like, Dad, why did this person do this? Or why did that happen? And then we have open conversations, open dialogue about certain things that goes on around the world. And I feel like that's the best way in living in this social media society.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, with us growing up, we didn't have that.
Right.
So it was kind of like, if we don't know about it, our parents didn't talk about it with us, then we wouldn't know. But now, if I don't talk about it with him, he's going to find out via social media.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd rather be the educator to my son or my daughter instead of social media. Because social media is going to give you this, it's going to give you that, it's going to give you a different plethora of things to where it's kind of like you don't know what to believe. You don't know what's real. You don't know what's false. You don't know.
Right.
So at the end of the day, for me, it's just my thing is just having a real open conversation with my child and letting them know, like, hey, yo, this is the world we live in. This is society, and this is how I can't make you do this,
right.
but this is how I think you should go about it.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So that's my method on dealing with that.
I mean, cut you off. It's the just constant interaction. You interact with your child, man.
Right.
You have to give them that time,
Right.
even if they don't want it. You know, they listen. They're going to be happy they got it when they look back on it.
Absolutely.
Just constant being there, in the talks is.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
A couple things y'all said stuck out. One is, how fast things change from generation to generation. And, like, we didn't have that quick news in front of your face. And a thing that I think is different from when we grew up and from how the generation under us is growing up is how we get disciplined. I don't know about y'all, but I used to get my ass whooped.
Yeah,
I used to get my ass whooped.
Right.
So how do y'all go about disciplining your kids?
I'll go. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna be honest because this is what this podcast is about. If y'all don't like it, tough. But this is the reality of it. Do I believe in ass whoopings? Yes, I do. I do. But I think there's a certain way of going about it. Growing up, I grew up Haitian. I mean, I'm Haitian, so I grew up the Haitian way, I should say. And ass whoopings was a big part of our culture, and like that's what I mean. But it was excessive. I felt like any little thing you did, ass whooping. I mean, like it didn't take. There was no conversation. The conversation may come after the ass whooping, or it may not. So, do I believe in it? Yes, I do believe in ass whoopings, but I do believe it can't be all the time, every time.
Right.
It has to be in certain circumstances to where it's kind of like, all right, you know what? I've talked to you about this plenty of times. I've told you to do this. And sometimes kids don't understand, or even human beings, they don't understand until they get, I'm not going to say I punched my kid in the mouth, but as an analogy, until you get punched in the mouth, that's when it's kind of like, you know what? Shit, I shouldn't do this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's kind of like, have I whooped my son's ass before? Yes. Yes, I've whooped his butt. Yeah. But after I whooped his butt, I've sat him down and said, yo, listen, man, I whooped your butt because of X, Y, Z. Yep. And in reality, this ass whooping that I gave you, as you get older, you do these things or you do something harsh, you're going to wish I was still whipping your ass because the world is going to whip your ass 10 times harder than that. I mean, so that's my thing. I mean, but at the end of the day, as far as like disciplining, like conversation and talking to your child is the biggest thing. Taking things away from them, making them to understand like, yo, man, like the world's going to take so much more from you. Yeah. So I'm going to take this away so you can realize what it is. Because let's be honest, like we've all been around other kids and you'd be like, damn, like they get away with murder. Right. Their parents don't let them do shit. Yeah. Or we've been in the supermarket and we're gonna be honest. We're gonna be honest, bro. We've seen little Timmy. We've seen all the little white kids in there, and their parents don't discipline them. They're like, "No, Timmy, don't do that. No," and they're cursing at their moms, talking back, saying all types of shit, and their moms is kind of like, whatever. Me, my son, he knows he does something. I don't even have to say nothing.
And look,
I give him a look like, yo, you know what time it is. Stop that. Yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's kind of like, yo, you instill these things in your child. So it's like, yo, they know the rules. Right. I'm not saying whoop their ass all the time. I'm not saying that. But sometimes you gotta instill some type of fear or authority, I should say, in like you have to be the father figure or the parent. Yeah. I feel like people don't want to parent anymore. So it's kind of like, yo, go in timeout, go in the corner. That ain't shit. Sometimes you gotta put your hands on them and be like, yo, listen, man, like, yo, I'm the parent, I'm the authority figure. This is what it is.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you're saying. And for me, it's like steps to getting your ass whooped.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, I might have to tell you again. At some point, I'm not gonna keep telling you.
Right.
And you've reached that level to where I gotta go there. But like you said, there's always come with talks afterwards.
Absolutely.
And that's just how it got to be. I mean, listen, I've got talking, right before going to the supermarket. Like, listen, you show your ass in the supermarket, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
And guess what I did? I ain't show my ass. I listened.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why you got to take the good, the bad from,
Yeah.
You got to take it both ways. I took those lessons and it passed on down, and it works.
Right.
It definitely works, especially just like you said, you just parent. It's not just whipping their ass and then I'm going to just go over here and wait till they do something again and I'm going to whip their ass. No, talk to them. Let them know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is the reason why I'm doing this.
Right. You know what I mean? So, I agree, man. Yeah. Listen. You got to. You got to, man. It's tough love.
And it's kind of like we live in the society now, bro, honestly, man, where it's kind of like it's frowned upon. Like, kids still get their ass beat, but you can't talk about it. You can't say it, because if you say it, it's kind of like, you're a bad parent. Yeah. You're this and that. But in reality, right, like, I whooped my kid's ass and he grew up to be a good kid. Now what? He grew up to be a good kid because he had discipline. Right. You know what I'm saying? But then I don't whip my kid's ass, right? And then he's fucking tyrant. Yeah. He goes around doing whatever, goes to jail, does all these bad things, whatever, and it's kind of like, all right, yo, like you can't look at me as a bad parent because I discipline my child because I don't want this life for my child. Like we see it on the news, not to cut you off, but we see it on the news all the time. Like these kids, they're going out here doing all this crazy shit because nobody's disciplining them. Nobody's whooping their ass. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because they know, like, yo, listen, man, a potential ass whooping may come by me doing this. Yeah. I'm not going to do this. But if you know, like, you know what, I'm free. I can do what the fuck I want. Ain't nobody going to beat my ass. Ain't no consequences about it. Yo, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I don't care. No. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, like, I do think sometimes the ass whoops are excessive. It's then that's child abuse. Right. You're beating your kid's ass is excessive every day, all day, just because of every little thing. Nah. But at the end of the day, you have to instill some type of fear. I feel like fear is a part of everything in life. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid and I'm fearful that I may go to jail. Right. I'm fearful that my parents may whoop my ass. I'm fearful. So I feel like that has to be a part of it. You have to have some type of fear of being disciplined or getting in trouble. Because if you don't have any fear, it's kind of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do what the fuck I want. There's no consequences, there's no fear behind it. So
listen, if your kids don't respect you at home, why would they respect anybody else? Right. It starts at home. Like, right. They had to respect their home. They're some type of structure at home. They'll understand how to go out in the real world. Because I can't talk to my pop like that. I'm definitely going to go talk to a stranger like that. Something going to happen.
Absolutely.
So, it starts at home, man.
Yeah. I grew up getting my ass whooped. I would get my ass whooped a little bit less than my brother got his ass whooped, though.
Because by the time they got to you, they probably was tired.
They was tired.
Yeah.
But not only that, I was the favorite.
There you go.
I was the favorite. So do y'all think that parents have a favorite child, and do they treat their children a little differently?
I'll let you go with this one, Reese. Let me let you go because you got them children.
Listen, and now I would like to Deion Sanders on Instagram. he's like one of the first people I see. He got like rankings for his kids. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the truth. You got multiple kids. Look, these 2 kids over here, they doing what they need to do. These other kids, look, they getting on my goddamn nerves. Right. They at the bottom rankings. For me, it depends. It depends. One day be my destiny, my 9-year-old, you know, which is like the majority of the time. Yeah. Because she's still at that age that she's still
sweet.
Right. She's still, you know, wants dad's attention.
Daddy.
The teenagers, you know, they do, you know, they're teenagers.
Right.
You know, then I have my son as 2. You know, him being my son is kind of like, that's my guy. Yeah. My first son. Right. You know, we rock out, but he, you know, he be a little crybaby. So then I jump back to Destiny. Right. You know, like big girls probably cook me something or they up top. You know, it depends, man.
Every day is a new day.
Yeah, listen, man. And it's fair. Yeah. It's fair. Listen.
Now, for me, I wouldn't say favorite. I think there's a child that you connect with. Yeah. Like, and, you know, my daughter's still young. She's only 2. Travis is 12. So me and him, we connect on certain things. We connect on sports. We connect on video games. We connect on now music and certain things like that. So me and him, we have a connection. Yeah. But the love that I get from my daughter is different. Like, she adores me. When like she looks at me, she's kind of like, Dad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For me, it's like, and I say this all the time, having a daughter just hits different. Yeah. It hits different. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and it's kind of like for us as men, we know how much we love our moms. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I fucks with my dad. Like he's cool. He's good. Mm-hmm. But I love my moms. Like me and my mom, that's my ace. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way. Like you have a daughter and your daughter just adores you. Yeah. Like you mean, and I know my son loves me, but that nigga loves his mom. You know what I mean? Like we gonna call it for what it is. Like he loves his mom. So for me, it's like that's the same affection that I get from my daughter. Like my daughter just loves me, and I feel like as she get older, it'll become much more of that. You know what I'm saying? So it just hits different. But true. I don't think I have a favorite. I think that you connect with the kids in a different way. Mm-hmm. And during that time while you're connecting with them, it's kind of like, damn, I fucks with you. You know what I'm saying?
And at that moment in time, be your favorite. Right. Like, yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, I guess.
Listen, you it's all bonding moments with each child. Right. You know what I mean? And you can say my favorite time was when we did this. Right. When I did with this child, that child, whatever. Right. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why at that time, you were my favorite because we had so much fun. Mm-hmm. The look on your face was, I could never forget it. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah. But I do feel like there's some parents kids that just like, you know what? This little nigga, I do not like him. I don't like him. He's bad as shit. Yeah. He don't listen. Yeah. He boogers is all that. I mean, he's just bad. This bad little nigga. So I do feel like there's certain parents that just don't like certain kids. Like he's just a rotten apple. You know what I'm saying? And it be like that.
I agree. Yeah.
It be like that.
You mentioned like the evolution of like when your daughter gets older, how it'll start to change, right? And you have, you know, your kids are multiple like age levels. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering then, as y'all get older, how do your feelings towards your children change, and like your vision towards your children? How is that evolution for y'all?
I mean, like as I get older, I just feel like my love for them, not even my love for them, my understanding of them changes. Like, all right, like I understand why you did X, Y, Z. I understand why you do this. Because I feel like, I don't know, man, like kids, man, if you don't understand them, if you don't understand what they're doing, they'll drive you fucking crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I have a different understanding now that I'm getting older, to where it's like I was a young dad. Like, I mean, like I had Travis when I was, 23 years old. I didn't know shit from shit. And, you know, I didn't know how to really be a dad. I had to learn. But now that I'm older, I'm kind of comfortable in it. And it's kind of like, my daughter's 2 now. I know what to do.
Right.
I know how to handle it.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm not scared. I'm just in dad mode. It's like, for me, it's just a switch. Like, I mean, I just turn it on and I'm in dad mode. Yeah. So I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become much more understanding. I've become a better dad. I'm much more loving. And it just makes me into a better person. So I think that. That's dope.
Yeah, the first thing you said was understanding. As you get older, just like everything else, you just start to understand it more than what you did before. Previously. I just understand my kids. And I know how they are, and just every day you just try to find different ways to tackle things. Right. And just get better. Right. And I love being in that. Like, I cherish that because I didn't have that to a certain extent, and you want to pitch your kids. It's not like trying to rush them along. It's just help them. Kind of like, all right, with my girls. Hey, you're 17, soon to be 18. Amaya, Abria, you're 16. Hey, let's get that permit. Yeah. Hey, how about we knock that out? Right. It's just trying to get them because that wasn't my mindset.
Correct.
I was driving then. I didn't think not one bit about a damn permit. Right. I don't care about that. I'm driving.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You can't tell me
I know
nothing.
how to whip.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you just try to move. Help them along and be like, hey, mommy, look, get this out the way. It's just trying to tackle different ways, like we saying, like bond and just understanding that they're their own person and. Don't try to force anything on them,
Right.
Let it flow.
Right.
Yeah. So you were 23 when you had Travis. How old were you when you had your first?
I was 19.
19.
Right after high school.
Damn. Yeah.
It's for me, it's just this simple.
It's like a Kevin Hart movie. He's like, damn.
Yeah.
I just went back to when I was 19 and I wouldn't have known what to do. For real.
Listen, it's the best thing. It's the best thing that ever happened for me. Because it slowed life down.
Yeah.
Who to say if I didn't have a daughter early on, I probably would be, who knows?
Right. I definitely say, not to cut you off, I'll definitely say it forces you to grow up.
You've been around me.
Right.
I've always been the dad in dad mode. You know.
Right.
But yeah, it's since 19. I could tell you this. Maya was born July 1st. I started working at Walmart July 11th. Like it was it just snapped. You ain't have your dad in your life. You're going to be the best dad you can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always moments. Like, I remember that my pop leaving us when I was at 7. Even then, like, getting older, I have kids one day, I'm gonna be a better dad.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be there. And I don't even hold anything against him for his reasons. Listen, times was different back then. I'm not making excuses for any parents. But you got to forgive your parents. Especially when you get older, you don't know what they went through.
They're human beings too.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's too many. Like, I'm 37, 37, and you still blaming your parents for shit.
Right. Being resentful.
Like, come on, like, cut the pity party.
Yeah.
You're grown now, just like they were grown when they had to take care of your ass. So be more understanding, but yeah, for me, 19, I just had to grow up fast. I'm sorry for getting off.
Yeah,
No, that was, you answered the question. I didn't even have to ask.
Nah, man, but yeah, so it was just hit the ground running for me to be in dad mode, and I'm still in there, and I love it, man.
Yeah. Steve, talk about how you felt.
Man, shit. I was scared. I was scared shitless. I thought my life was over. That was it. Because for me, like, besides Reese that had kids, I ain't have no other friends that had kids. You know what I'm saying? So, and like the circle, the people that I was around, they were out having fun, living their lives and all that. And it's kind of like, back then there was like a stigma. Like, if you had a kid, the people would look at you like you had fucking Ebola or something. It was kind of like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, kid. Like, I mean, so that's what it was for me. And then in my mind, like, it fucked with me because I was just like, damn, like, yo, people are really out here judging me because I'm a young dad.
Right.
But now I look at it, it's a blessing that I had a child early, because now I've gotten to grow up with my son.
Yes.
I've gotten to, I'm still able to do things with them. So it's kind of like, and then now you got people that are having kids at 37, 38, 40. And it's kind of like, my guy, by the time you get older, you ain't going to be able to do certain things. So for me, it was, when I look at it now, it was a blessing. But back then, man, I was scared, bro. I was scared. I was making $13.40. I didn't have nothing. I was living at my parents' house. I didn't have everything together. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. But what I will say is that having my son, that shit showed me a sense of responsibility. It gave me something to strive for, I would say. And like, it made me who I am, bro.
Yes.
Like, it was just kind of like, it kind of makes you selfless, because it's kind of like, yo, it's not about me anymore.
Right.
I got this mouth I have to feed, and it just makes you go into your bag and just grind even harder, that you never thought that you can do it.
Right.
Because that's the thing, a lot of people think like, yo, I'm having a child and this is the end of the world. Or they're looking for that ultimate guidance. They're reading books, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, man, it's a feeling. It's just something you feel. It's just something you just got to do. There's no right way of doing it. There's no wrong way of doing it. Yeah, you can ask for advice, but you just got to just fill it out and be that parent and be present and in that mode. And that's what I did, man. And I enjoy it. I love being a dad. It's a great feeling, and I have no regrets about it.
Yeah.
Nah, you can't. You just can't, man. That's life. It's part of life.
It's a journey.
You know, you embrace it. You know, you keep it moving.
Yeah.
You don't make no excuses. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
What do y'all feel that you could have done better or could do better as a parent?
Tackle this one.
I don't know, man. I tried to do. Maybe I could talk more than what I'm doing already. Like, I just try to be engaged at all times. And again, you know, I'm in the middle of it all. I got teenagers, I got a, preteen, and I got a baby. So I guess just make more time, even more, just time, because I feel like with the time, the dad I am, that covers all the other bases. Because if you're there, you're present, then you can do X, Y, Z that you want to do with your kids. So just more time, like.
Yeah. For me, and as you say it, Reese, like it's being present, man. I feel like in today's world, we have so many distractions. We have so many things that's going on in our day to day. We work. I have podcasts. I have side businesses, family. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like these things take away. They pull at you. Yeah. And sometimes you have to slow things down and be like, you know what? I got to make time for my kids. Yeah. I got to do this. I got to remember. Because sometimes you're tired, bro. It's not like, yo, man, I'm tired. Leave me alone. I'm going to time myself. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to remember, like, yo, bro, like these kids, they want this. They want time. They crave it, man. And I'll give this example. Like, Travis is playing basketball. He's learning to play basketball. And I take him to the park. We do drills. We have cones out there. We're doing drills and whatever. And people think that they send their kids to the park. They're having fun. Like, you know what? I let him go to the park. I let him do his thing. All these kids, right? Every time, never fails. Every time me and Travis are doing a drill, these kids always come to me and be like, hey, can we do a drill with you? Yeah. Hey, can we do this with you? And in my mind, it clicked. It's kind of like, yo, these kids don't just want to go to the park. They want somebody to go to the park with them, and they want that guidance. They want that structure. They need that, somebody there with them. Right. And I sit down with Travis and I'd be like, yo, bro, you're fortunate. You're fortunate to have a dad that takes you to the park. Yes. And not just takes you to the park and be like, yeah, I'm going to go sit down and be on my phone while you on the court. No, he's there interacting with you, teaching you things, showing you things. You know what I'm saying? That shit is so big. And I didn't have that. I mean, for me, it's like my parents, they're immigrants. All they know, I'm going to come to this country, I'm going to work my ass off, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? So that was it for me. So I, as having a child, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I'm present and I make time for my kids, because as I was growing up and I look back at now, all I've ever wanted was time. I don't give a fuck about the Nintendo. I don't care about the Sega Genesis. I don't care about none of the toys. I don't remember that shit. I do not remember that. But I remember when my parents was there, when I played basketball and I hit a winning shot and my parents came on the court and gave me a hug and all. Those are the moments that you remember. Yep. So I always emphasize on make time and be present as much as possible. Am I great at it? No, I'm not great at it all the time. But I know in back of my mind, this is something that you work towards to be better at.
And it's just putting forth the effort. You know, I love my 2-year-old son, Reese. Pick him up from daycare after work, and we go in the house. The first thing he does, he picks up the ball, and he throws it at me. He wants to play catch.
Right.
It's like, I was just working all day. He was at daycare, and it's the first thing he want to do when we walk in.
Right.
You can't turn that down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, again, with my other kids, those moments get shorter and shorter to where they don't want to interact with you. You got to go do something with them. So,
correct.
I embrace it all, man.
Correct.
Nothing else, important than that, man.
Right. And I'll say this before we switch over to the next topic. No matter how old your kid is, you can still spend time with them. Find a common ground. Because I feel like as we get older, it's kind of like, I'm not going to hang out with my parents no more because I'm preoccupied doing that. Nah, man, still hang out with your kids. Still hang out and do the things and find a common goal, common ground. Like whether it's watching sports, going to the movies, doing something, going for walks. You know what I'm saying? And just be there. Like sometimes you don't need to. I feel like a lot of people, it's like, you know what? I don't have anything in common with my parents. So I don't know how to really be around them or what to do. It's just I'm so used to my parents giving me instructions or telling me what to do. But now that I'm an adult, they're not giving me instructions anymore. I don't know how to be around them.
Right.
For me, it's just be there.
Yeah.
Just be present. Like go for walks. You don't necessarily need to talk. Sometimes parents just want to just feel you there.
That's all.
And that's it. And I've learned that because before it's kind of like my dad never spent any time with me like that. So we ain't got nothing in common. We ain't really got nothing to talk about. But it's like I'll just go there and I just sit there with him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he knows. Like I said, Pop left at I'm 7. Mm-hmm. Mother passed away at 19. Have much, I already got Amaya. Mm-hmm. Like that's my world right there, and that's what made me grow up fast. And it was. I understood what's important more than anything, even back then. Right. I had my fun throughout the years, but it was always daddy mode. Like this, nothing comes before this. So, yeah, man.
That's a perfect segue into one of our last topics. Talk to me about, because there's a lot of dads out here, right? Talk to me, Reese. I'm gonna start with you. Talk to me about the importance of fatherhood.
Man, listen, we see today what's going on. It's like the killing, like these kids are, it's the violence. These kids are getting younger and younger doing it. And that's the lack of the parenting, or absent parents or whatever the case may be. It's super important, man. I don't understand how you don't want to be a father. You know what you did when you laid down, you made the baby, like whatever. You just be there. Like, how can you deny that face? Or even if whatever you're going through with your kids, like that would be always on my mind. How can I find a way to go spend time with my kids? Even if I'm not allowed, I'm going to fight, whatever. Nothing else matters. The day my daughter was born, that was it. That changed. Like you said, I gotta provide for this child. I gotta feed this mouth. That was it, man. It was nothing else to think about. It's super important, man. It's nothing more important than just when you say fatherhood. Yes, just parenthood overall.
Right. For me, man, like that shit burns a hole in me, man. Every time I see a single mom or even a single dad, because we're just not going to put it like, yes, statistics show like, yeah, normally if someone leaves, obviously it's the dad, but sometimes the dads are just by themselves. But you know what I mean? Like, so, so yeah, I'll say that, man. So for me, man, like, I feel like there's a lot of ego get put in this, and a child just get brought in it. Like, all right, me and you are not together. We don't get along, whatever. And like, you know what? The mom goes, you know what? I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to take your child away from you. Right. Like, nah, man. Like, you're not hurting him. You're hurting the child.
Yeah.
Because, like, kids need both sides of it.
Right.
They need to learn. Like, yes, a mom, I've seen extraordinary moms out there do extraordinary jobs and teach their sons how to be a man and this and that, whatever the case may be, whatever. And I've seen dads do vice versa. But at the end of the day, if you have, like, there's certain things that just you can't recreate. There's certain things that you just can't do. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we need to hold each other accountable. Like, as men, like, yo, bro, like, you just gonna leave that child? You just gonna just let somebody else raise your child? Like, come on, bro. You're not a man. For me, I do not respect a dude or a person who do not take care of their kids. We cannot be friends. Right. We cannot hang out because we have nothing in common. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take care of my kids. I love my kids. So I can't hang out with you if you're not doing that. Like, because that just shows what type of person you are. You don't care about anybody else. Because if you don't care about your kids, who the fuck you going to give a fuck about? Right. Who are you going to care about? You created this person. This person came out of you. And you don't care about it? Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, so for me, it's just kind of like, be better. Be better. Take accountability. Be a dad. Put your ego to the side. Put your feelings to the side. What gripes you have against the mom or the mom got against the dad, put that shit to the side and take care of these kids. These kids come first.
That's all that matters.
And that's mine, man.
Man, I totally agree, man. If you're going to bring a child into the world, man, and you don't want to take care of it, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
So then tell me you guys' thoughts. Steve, start with you. Tell me your thoughts in regards to child support.
Child support is such a sticky situation. It's such a sticky situation. And it's a messy situation. I always I feel like, you don't want the courts in your business. Once the courts get in your business, then that's a wrap. There's nothing you can do. You can't take it back. They're just in your business. It's messy. So for me, like, I always give people advice like, yo, listen, man, if you can handle this situation outside of court, handle it that way. Be an adult, because especially for the guys, because I feel like majority of the time the courts are going to side with the women. You know what I mean? And then,
why do you think that is?
I really don't know, because I feel like in the society we live in, and I don't think it's a right or wrong thing. I just think that women are always the caretakers, and most of the time they are. They're the ones who do everything. They take care of the kid, they work, they do everything, clean, cook, all that. So I feel like they still go by that. You know what I'm saying? If it's something else, I don't know. Maybe I'm naive to it. Maybe I'm ignorant to it. I don't know. But that's my feeling towards it. Child support, I feel like, in some cases, it works. It's good, because some people don't want to take care of their kids, men or women. They don't want to take care of their kids. So, hey, yo, you don't want to take responsibility for this? All right, I'm going to go to the courts. Let me get that, because you don't want to come to the table and sit down and be an adult and help support this child that you laid in bed create with me. So let me get that. Yeah. But there's some sense, and I've seen y'all. There's a lot of y'all here. There's a lot of y'all here. Y'all getting that money, and what are y'all doing? Instead of taking the money and putting it away for the child so the child could have some college fund or go to a good school or private school or something, you know what I mean? Oh, we going to the dealership and we going to go buy Benz. We're going to go buy a Benz. We're going to do all that. And who's paying for it? The child support. And don't tell me, I need transportation. You don't need no Benz. Right. You don't need no Benz. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just kind of like, or they're using the money to buy a Louis bag and doing this. What part of the game is that? Right. What part of the game is that? So for me, it's just kind of like, yo, if you're going to do it, man, do it and handle it the right way. Don't use that money to just do whatever you want with it. And I think the courts need to look at that also. Like, yo, listen, miss, we're not giving you this money for you to play around with. It's called child support. Right. Support the child, not you support. Child support. That's what I think it is. But there's just so many different dynamics to it, and we can go on all day about it. But from that point of view, for me, it's just a little wild.
Yeah, I think they gotta for child support. I think they need to loosen up the reins a little bit on both sides, whatever the case may be. I think how you eliminate it though, man, is just don't go to it in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like you said, it's just trying to get two parents just to try to be on the same page as much as possible, because the last thing you do want is these people in your business. Absolutely. I mean, you know, like look at what it's doing to the kid. You know, like we talked about before, is that's the main thing. But I haven't been on child support.
I haven't either. I'm
a knock on wood.
Praise the Lord.
I'm a knock on wood. I'm a knock on wood just
Lord.
in case any, you know, my kid's mom is watching this.
Yeah.
I have no issue with it. We cool. We cool. We gonna continue being cool. But you pretty much summed it up, man. With just it has to be fair for both parties. Right. You know. Right. You know, men step up. Do more if you know. Even if you split up with the lady. You know she's doing more, you know. Right. She works, you know, all the food. Just help out in wherever you can. You know what I mean? Correct. I think that's just the main thing. It should be a team thing no matter what. You know, put your pride aside, ego and all that, and just help out. And then child support wouldn't even have to be a thought. You know? Absolutely. So, absolutely. For me, it's like, yo, avoid that shit at all costs. Yeah, I mean, like if you can, avoid it, bro. Like, put your pride to the side. Don't let these people get all up in your business. Don't let them do all this, because at the end of the day, it doesn't get better. That shit gets worse, man. Yeah, we don't want to just talk about what child support does, because we know, we see it. Let's talk about trying to just avoid child support. You know what I mean? Like that's the the topic, man. You know, fellas and women, like, let's get on the same page, man. It's about the kids. That's it, man. Right. Just about the kids. It ain't about nothing else. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Facts.
Well, that was the last question I had for, the fathers. And as a man that doesn't have any kids, it's beautiful to hear y'all talk about y'all relationship with y'all kids and just fatherhood in general. So I want to say big ups to y'all. Yeah. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of this conversation.
Man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Reese, thank you so much, bro. You already know, man. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, man. So, guys, this is another episode of 7 p.m. in Philly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit all that. Send it to your granny, send it to your mama, your baby mama. Sending them all of that, man. Thank you. You know what I mean? Thank y'all. Love y'all. And we out this bitch. Later. Peace.